Hello everyone and welcome to this live showdown between the Warriors of Chaos and the Dwarves. In this match, I think we're going to go with Kolek Suneater. I definitely like him quite a bit. The Warp Chicken isn't a bad idea because, again, Metal is pretty good against Dwarves. He has 60% missile resist, so against cannons and thunders and all that kind of stuff, he's not going to be taking as much damage. But still, I feel like he kind of lacks that stopping power. Firstly, he does magic damage, so anything he's hitting is going to be taking, I think, a 20 or 25% mitigation. I really like Kolek. I mean, he is vulnerable to being focused on by missiles, but he's one of those lords that can really just hammer it home on those very sturdy dwarf lords. So if you're facing off against like a Rune Lord or Runesmiths or, Thanes, he can really get through them pretty quick. We're going to go with the Chaos Sorcerer with Metal. We're going to get the Searing Doom to drop on Rangers, Plague of Rust, which I actually really like to use with Forsaken. So as such, we're going to get 2 Forsaken here. On top of that, let's get some Chaos Warriors with the Great Weapons. We can get some Chosen, but I feel like they're just... the Dwarves can really focus them down pretty easily, so we're going to kind of opt out of that. So let's get a couple of those guys. On top of that, of course, we want a Chariot, which is always going to be pretty good. And I really want to get Trolls. I really want to. But I definitely think some Chaos Knights are going to be pretty good. We can go with the ones with a little bit better sustained combat in case we get caught with a Tormentor Sword. I think that could be pretty good. So the army's coming together. I mean, we could just spam Chariots a little bit more, but I think we cut this. It's really funny. It used to be a meme on the channel how I always would get 3 Chaos Warriors and then end up cutting one. So let's do that. And then on top of that, we can get some, where can I cut some costs? So I really like the Marauder Horsemen quite a bit for like, just dealing with Gyrocopters. And honestly, like they have pretty good AP values with their axes as is. Let's get some additional Hounds just to pressure the back line. And that should be good. So it's a very, very thin front line, but hopefully it'll work out. So good luck to my opponent, Umaze. I think that name sounds really familiar. I think I cast one of his games in a tournament recently. So hopefully we'll have a ferocious showdown with the Dawi here. But yeah, I like this build. It's worked out for me in the past. I think you can get a little bit more abusive. Like if you really want to, you can just spam Chariots and all kinds of stuff like that. You can get real crunk nasty with this kind of stuff. But we are fighting on the Ford. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if there's any good turtling or positions where you can, kind of close off his flank there. That's one of the big things about the Dwarves. If you have the terrain that's like really conducive to corner camping and stuff, like it's actually much, much harder to beat the Dwarves. This one should be okay. We have some forest terrain, so if we wanted, we can actually deploy in the forest and advance, which if he's probably going to deploy in this corner here, I would imagine, because if he deploys in the swamps, although then he'll take penalties to infantry as well. But I can foresee him like posturing up on this hill and forcing me to march over there. So I'll just deploy in this like tree line right here. I think that should be okay. So let's go ahead and get the Chaos Warriors. We can just do a very simple formation. We don't need to get too fancy here. So we're going to do that. This one group of Forsaken can be here and here. And Forsaken on paper, you wouldn't think they're good against Dwarves, but they can munch on Slayers pretty good, which is great for protecting Kolek. And on top of that, with Lord of Metal, they become like much, much more effective. So we're going to get our casters and all those other goodies over there. We'll get these guys lurking here. And I wish these Hounds could Vanguard, but we're just going to kind of put them in the trees for now. So they're hidden. Chariots can... yeah, I guess there is an opportunity. I guess we would always go up in this way. So we'll just kind of put the Chariots in the back for now and put them in the trees and see what happens. Going to put them in group 1. These guys can be in group 4. And we can Vanguard. I don't want to Vanguard too aggressively because I doubt he would hide his Rangers right here. I just don't want to get caught by like a Dwarf Ranger Vanguard. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Good luck, good luck. Let's do it, man. Let's party. Let's have some fun. But yeah, I really do think Kolek's the most competitive choice against the Dwarves. I mean, there is a case to be made for like going cheaper and wider and just using more like Chaos Warriors and Chariots and things. Like if I had got a stripped down Chaos Sword, for example, I could have another Chariot, which is arguably very, very devastating against the Dwarves. So let's put them in group 5, actually. Just micro it separately. His army size. It's pretty big. So miners, I'm expecting miners with blasting charges, stuff like that, which will be okay at disrupting us. It can definitely do some heavy lifting. I don't think he probably has any Gyrocopters with an army that size. But the Marauder Horsemen, like, you can park them, like, in the back or cycle charge. Like, they have decent melee stats. I think they have, like, what, 24 weapon strength? Yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. But I think they're a pretty solid choice. Just, like, because if you don't have them and then they bring Gyrocopters, like, they can just troll you so much. They can just sit and shoot at Kolek the entire battle, and you can't really do anything about it, which is definitely not fun at all. So... all right, 10 seconds. Hopefully I didn't rush my opponent, and definitely not my intention there. Just thought enough time had passed, but you know what? We're going to see what happens. Marauder Horsemen are ready to go. All right, so a nice open field deployment from our Dawi friend here. So we're going to go ahead and advance and just kind of take note of his army. So let's get these guys in the trees back here. These Marauder Horsemen, does he have a lot of missiles? He does have some Quarrelers here. So on the flanks, he has the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, that kind of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and make sure we don't have skirmish mode on here, which is good. All right, great. Get the Chariots going. We're going to be ready to party. So he's got Slayers. He does have Troll Armor Torpedoes, which, ooh, against Kolek, that can be real gross. So we need to shut those guys down with the Hounds, like hardcore. So ideally, yeah, the Rangers are going to be pretty good at kind of, doing their thing here. So let's get this guy here. These guys can kind of circle around the back. And the Hounds have been discovered, I think. So it's too bad. The trap is sprung, as they say. So firstly, Chaos Warriors. Let's go ahead and get them kind of fighting in the front line here across the spectrum. We're going to pull these guys back in the forest now that we're taking that fire. Kolek and the boys. Kolek can run into the trees. These guys can go here, and these Forsaken can go here. Hounds can go in the back. Oh, I almost forgot about my Chaos Knights. That could have been really bad. Okay, good thing we remembered. So in the meantime, we're going to pull here. We're going to get these guys kind of collapsing into the Iron Drakes, and Kolek is, we just need to make sure he stays like just out of range. So we can like pull in and strike, and these Forsaken definitely did not want to listen to their orders, which is always a good time. So let's go ahead and cross over and get into those Quarlers here. We can go ahead and get a bombardment on top of these Rangers. It's going to be pretty solid. So we'll just kind of pull back, pull these Forsaken away from here. See, we need to take advantage of their speed and try and outmaneuver the Dwarfs, which is going to be, you know, always a little bit tricky. So Kolek and the boys, he's here. He does have his Lord of the Storm, so we can drop that on those Rangers here. Chariots, let's go ahead and get them slamming into these guys. And the Forsaken we want to push in as well. So the Chaos Knights, we can, yeah, we can try and force our way through. I think that should be okay. And position these guys in the high ground, and good. Everything's going to code for the most part. So these Forsaken, yeah, they're able to outmaneuver the Dwarves. So let's kind of make sure to keep pathing those guys back, pull those guys back as well. We got a battle on our hands for sure, but he does get a really good Tormentor Sword. So let's see if we can get these Forsaken up and into that pocket. That would be incredibly powerful. From here, I think we can kind of rush in. And if these Forsaken, oh, actually move, brothers. We need you to shut these guys down. These Forsaken still kind of maneuvering. We can just kite these Slayers, put them in kite mode, and good. So we have the bombardment again. Let's do it right here. Forsaken are getting into the cookie jar, which is great. Let's get the Hounds and everyone going in to finish off those Altars Raiders. So Kolek is relatively safe now. Now that we've kind of collapsed the line, we can have them go after those really high value targets. So great, we collapse right there on the Altars Raiders, which is going to be good. And now all of his missiles are essentially bogged up, which is great. So let's pull these guys over here, take off skirmish mode. These Forsaken, we've managed to do a lap around our opponent, which is great. So Transmutation of Lead will be pretty good right here in this big blob. Kolek needs to get out. He is in a little bit of a compromised position. I did take a little bit too much damage from that Tormentor Sword action, but you know, it's okay. Well played my opponent, shutting me down there. So we're going to kind of keep scurrying about. We could cycle charge here. We don't want to be dealing with Slayers, but cleaning up the you know, the Iron Drakes is, oh man, really sloppy there. I should have left the skirmish mode on. Chariots are back, good. So we can use them to kind of potentially buckle our opponent's flank here. And how are we doing with Kolek? This is actually a Rune Lord, so it shouldn't be too strong. But oh man, there's Dragonback Slayers everywhere right there, which is no good for business. So let's move over there and shut down those Quarlers. Kolek's in pretty good shape for the most part, and we do have our Metal Caster. Where's he at? So he's just kind of helping in the pocket here, which is good. We can actually go after these Iron Drakes with the Troll Armor Torpedoes. These guys can go ahead and come over here. So let's get them going here. These guys can keep kiting. That's totally fine. All right, so the Slayers are just going to be hunting us down, but it looks like our Cav are doing a pretty good job of just, you know, getting where they want to go. So we'll charge those guys, and then we're just going to kind of keep peeling across and trying to really disrupt our opponent's business here. So Chariots, we could slam into the back of these Longbeards right here, hopefully clean up the pocket a little bit. Let's get these Knights up on the high ground, and yeah, so far so good. And we do have Lord of the Storm too, so we can pop that right on top of those Miners who are just standing still. It's going to be some of the primo targets there. And these guys, can you run over into the forest? I think so. Great. Oh, we got some Hounds back. That's going to be really useful, actually. So the Hounds, we can just kind of get into these Iron Drakes as well. We get the Chaos Knights kind of pushing into those guys, and Forsaken are back. So let's get the Chaos Knights away. Good. So Kolek is in the front, just kind of helping to win this battle with these Chaos Warriors right here. And do we have any missile units we want to chase down? We can actually chase down those Rangers, which would be pretty good. Longbeards with great weapons are also pretty good targets. Chaos Warriors or Forsaken getting in there is going to be very strong as well. And yeah, I'd say it's going good. We're able to kind of crunch these Miners and hopefully outmaneuver some of these guys. So let's pull up and around here. Take a look at the battlefield, kind of survey everything. Always a pretty good idea. And he does have a lot of resources chasing these guys. But let's see if we can kind of get away in the forest here. That would be really strong. Hounds, where are you guys at? So the Hounds here, and I think we forgot about this group of Hounds who's been rallied for probably like 45 minutes here. So let's see where they're at. Are they here? Yeah, the Hounds are here. Okay, great. So they can go ahead and just posture over here. Kolek, see what you're up to, bud. All right, Kolek did pretty good, so we can crush on these Iron Drakes with the Troll Armor Torpedoes. We do also have another bombardment ability, so where do we want to use this? Probably right here is going to be okay. Yeah, we can get these throwing axes going in here. Definitely like the throwing axes quite a bit for that. And the Hounds, oh, we have that one Chariot. I've been really sloppy with my Chariot this game, actually, but that's okay. Such is life. So we're going to pull these guys up and over there, around the top, see if we can get any value going on. Let's go ahead and get into this Rune Lord. The Rune Lord is a little bit exposed. I got to watch out for those Slayers, though. Those are the one things that could really dump on Kolek if he's able to catch me with those. So let's just keep working these guys down, just take advantage of Kolek's mobility and his size to kind of outmaneuver. And Chaos Knights are all fighting. These guys are over chasing. Definitely a pretty big mistake on my part, but you know, it's okay. So Chaos Knights coming in. We can go ahead and do a bit of a rear charge on these guys, kite back here, and Kolek can go ahead and just do a bit of a little charge here while the Dragonback Slayers are mucked up fighting my infantry down there. Cool. So you're able to do that. Got to watch out for the Tormentor Sword. I have a feeling he's kind of posturing up to use that, which is going to be a little bit tricky. So let's get the Chaos Knights here, get Kolek kind of running over this direction, and we do actually have quite a bit here. So let's actually put them in melee and go shut down those Rangers. Ooh, these Chaos Warriors coming back is going to be really, really juicy once we get that. So, great, great. And the Chariot, let's get you going into these miners. We can probably crumble them really quickly, take very little losses. And his Lord is isolated now. Lord of the Storm, we can drop on these Longbeards who are standing still. Hopefully my opponent doesn't react quick enough to pull those guys down. In a very, very even battle. I think we're just now pulling ahead on the bounce of power. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this Lord right here. And is there anything we want to kind of debuff? I think another bombardment could be okay. So, I don't know. I guess we'll just save the Winds of Magic. Use a Forbidden Rod for now. And these guys can now go in and shut down those guys. And having this Dwarf Lord surrounded here is going to be very, very good for us. We've been able to kind of kite the Slayers in a bit of a circle, which has been very, very strong. So let's get our Cav and our Chariot out in the back. And the Poison Hounds have rallied, which is good. All right, so let's go help finish these guys off. Actually, that's literally one Trollhammer Torpedo there, which is pretty hilarious. We have some troops in the forest we can now pull back to hopefully finish those guys off. Man, my tongue just got twisted there. But the Dwarf Lord's just getting pounded, which ultimately I think is going to give the battle to us. I mean, we could take some casualties against his remaining Slayers, but how many are even left? Yeah, it looks like 40. That's quite a bit. So let's get these Cav back. We definitely don't want to give it up for free. Chaos Knights, let's pull these guys back as well. Their charges can still be pretty good. Oh, nice. My opponent got a Tormentor Sword. Is definitely going to be pretty spooky stuff. So we'll switch these to range, see if we can get the last of those Trollhammer Torpedoes. We'll get the Forsaken going in there as well. And right now, I think we just finish off his Dwarf Lord, and from there, we should be able to collapse. So stuff in the forest. We have these guys here. Let's go ahead and take an overarching look at the battlefield. I would recommend that, guys, for any of you guys who are just like getting into multiplayer. Every like 30 seconds, just kind of zoom up and look around and look at the minimap. That'll like exponentially improve your play. Granted, I'm not the best. I always forget to do it myself, but I would still like recommend it. So we're going to charge in there. I mean, just try your best. And if you do it like every now and then, it's better than not doing it at all, right? So we'll push in with Kolek and the boys. So we're just going to kind of do a fat sandwich right now on the Dwarves. And I think we should be able to crumble his army because Kolek's just going to pound this thing down. We do have this bombardment. Ooh, Transmutational Lead. Forbidden Rod gives a ton of Winds of Magic, which is going to be good. So we're going to cast that, which is going to debuff the damage of all these troops. We're just going to use everything else to finish off the Dwarf Infantry, where Kolek just takes out the Thane. So that's why I really think Kolek's optimal pick. I mean, he had a lot of anti-large, but like, it would have been so hard to kill the Thane and these other troops if we didn't have like a big beat stick like Kolek. Like, definitely would have. So let's go ahead and use the armor reduction on him. The troops are all fighting here. We have our 31 Chaos Warriors who are obviously going to help finish off these 14 Slayers, who are also debuffed, which is good. Thane's still putting up a good fight, though. He's not going quietly into this good night. So let's see what else they got. So we can go ahead and pull these guys back for now, and pull these guys back as well, and just do a bit of a cycle charge. And it's definitely going to net a little bit more value. We have a bombardment. Let's use it on those Longbeards up in the high ground, and the Thane's going down. He should get hit with army losses here pretty soon. So, yeah, I think that's it. So GG, man. Oh, he forgot about a couple units, huh? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, maybe they were lurking in the shadows. But yeah, well played to my opponent. It was a good game, for sure. And I'm not sure what he had forgotten, or I think what ended up happening is that he actually overchased. I think that, like, I had some troops over there. The troops that were chasing the... remember I, like, ran my Chaos Horsemen back, like, super far? I think he accidentally had 2 Dwarf Infantry units chasing those guys into the Shadow Realm. I think it was these 2. Because remember, they caught them and killed, like, 7... Yeah, it looks like they actually killed, like, 13 of these guys and then chased them, and we were able to outrun. So, I mean, ultimately, that tactic, like, was good. Like, they overchased. We were able to use those Marauders to lure them out and then, you know, come back, and we got value, and his Dwarf Warriors had to waddle all the way back, which was tough. But yeah, definitely quite a fun game. So very well played to my opponent, Eumaeus, I think is how you say his name. Looking forward to running into you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this Chaos vs. Dwarf showdown. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.